happens to the public. The only time they are interested in me is when I vote, and then I become the darling of the politicians. Interesting, the last chapter, J. Vernon McGee, we're reading through the Bible by J. Vernon McGee. He says that the church shouldn't be involved in politics, but it's interesting here that he's talking about how that they aren't interested in us. Maybe it doesn't matter who we vote for, they're going to do whoever pays them the most money to vote. And the gambling industry, the gambling industry, what was the other one? The pot industry is going to, the drug industry is going to pay them enough that they'll vote for them and not for us. Then you and I are the intelligent public who cannot go wrong, provided we vote for them. It is a wonder to have a representative before God, one who does represent us. It is good to know that we have somebody there for us, because Scripture tells us that Satan, the accuser of the brethren, has access to God and accuses us before God day and night. See Revelations chapter 12 and verse 20. Satan could tell God some pretty bad things about us, and so I am thankful I have a representative in heaven. Not only do we have a representative, but he is our attorney. And so first we saw Christ higher than the angels before he is God. We started off on a high plane, now we're going to go to a low plane. Now we see him become lower than the angels. He was made in the likeness of man, and we see here his humanity. There are 6 danger signs in the book of Hebrews. They are warnings to the people of Israel, and they fail not to enter into the full blessing which God has provided through Christ. These 6 danger signals can be likened to highway markers to warn the believer. These danger signals as follows. Perils of drifting. Chapter 2, verse 1 through 4. Uncle Cecil talked about having an umbilical cord that ties us to Christ, which is the idea of an anchor that holds us firm so that we don't drift around from various doctrines, so we stay in sound doctrine. Perils of doubting. Chapter 3 and verse 7 through chapter 4 and verse 2. Perils of dull hearing. Chapter 5, verse 11 through 14, perils of departing, chapter 6, verse 1 through 20, perils of despising, chapter 10, verse 26 through 39, and perils of denying, chapter 12, verse 15 through 29. There are 2 places in which a believer can live. He can live in the desert and have a wilderness experience, or he can enter into the blessings of God by spiritually crossing the Jordan River. We find the example of this in Israel. God warned them at Kadesh Barnea that they would miss his full blessing if they failed to enter into the land. And remember, some of them wanted to stay on the other side. Now I have literally crossed the Jordan River, and and it wasn't pleasant at all. It was on a bus that stopped 5 times, and that's McGee and not me. And by the time we got to the Allenby Bridge, I was so disgusted I didn't know whether I even wanted to cross the river Jordan. So I'm glad J. Vernon gets disgusted sometimes as well too. As we drove over to I looked at the little muddy stream and thanked God that I had crossed the spiritual Jordan in Jesus Christ through his death and resurrection. That is, I have been buried with him in baptism and raised with him in newness of life. That is what is meant by the Christian crossing the Jordan. Joshua literally led the children of Israel across the Jordan. Christ spiritually led the ones who believe in him across the Jordan into the newness of life. So that concludes that section, which is the